What's up, everybody? This is Garrett from Practical Wedding Photography. It's a new channel I started. See a lot of channels on YouTube for photography about portrait photography, studio photography, street photography, modeling stuff. And as a wedding photographer, it's hard for me to base my opinion of a particular product, like a lens or a camera body, off of what people who are working in a studio think of it. Because we have two totally different sets of needs. Being that I'm always on location, I have a lot of low light situations to work with. So I figured I'd start this channel. Going to talk all about the practical uses of equipment and software, some techniques for wedding photographers. First video that I'm going to make is about the Tamron 35mm 1.8 lens. Just came out a couple days ago. I have this one for Canon. It's a beautiful lens. Let's get to it. So we're not going to talk about things like the chromatic aberration, vignetting, the build quality, because when you're spending $600 on a lens, you know that you're getting a decently, if not great, built lens. And as a wedding photographer, you know how to fix vignetting, you know how to fix chromatic aberration, things like that. They shouldn't really bother you, and you shouldn't really concern yourself with those things. If the lens performs well in the more key aspects, such as sharpness, the autofocus speed and ability, contrast, in this lens's case, the vibration compensation, those are the things that you want to look for. And also you want to figure out the practical uses for that lens. So here we go. We'll take a look at a couple of the images and we'll go over what I think of this lens so far. And keep in mind, this is just a very, very quick test that I did. I haven't gotten it out to a wedding yet, and I haven't really gotten it out besides on the way home from the camera store and in my house. So very limited sample supply here. Just take it for what it is. And I'll be coming back with another couple videos probably about this lens once I have used it at a wedding. Let's get into this here. So this was the very first one. I shot this at 1.8 just to see what kind of image we're going to be looking at here. You can see at 1.8 it's still pretty sharp, especially in this area here. That's probably where I was focusing as well. Very nice blur. It's very soft. Doesn't have any jagged edges here. Doesn't have any weird shapes. So yeah, I first impression, love this lens. You can focus, from what I've found, to around 8 inches, which is pretty incredible for a 35mm. You get right up in there for things like a hand, if you ever wanted to photograph a hand, which I doubt you would. But I don't know, say like a ring shot maybe, or some other details at the wedding, at the reception, ceremony. It's good. It's very, very good. Focuses quick and sharp, as you can see. Now with the vibration compensation, as you can see here, it's a 1/25th of a second, and I focused right on this 4 here. So let's see. That's beautiful. 1/25th of a second, handheld, in a moving car. You really can't say much more than that's just amazing. And as you can see, the contrast is very nice on this lens. It gives you a little bit of a nice vignette. It's great. Here's another one, something else I wanted to try, the sharpness at a higher ISO. So this is ISO 1600, still 1.8, handheld at 1/160th. And I focused right on her eye there. And I mean, I don't have any complaints as to the sharpness in this photo at all. It's beautiful. Like I said, no complaints. So another one of the most important things as a wedding photographer to me is what kind of bokeh I'm getting and how sharp the image is. So this next test is all about those two things right here. Okay, so here's the 1.8 at 100%. Fairly sharp in here, and as you can see, everything else is out of focus, as it should be. But I have no issues with this right now. Definitely good for something like a ring shot. Details, as we were talking about before. Alright, let's get on over to the 2.8. 2.8, a little bit more in focus, not as much. I mean, again, no issues here. Looks great, sharp enough. And again, this is 100% magnification, so looks excellent. And we'll get back into the 4.0. A little bit more in focus here. No complaints whatsoever. Alright, so a couple more things that I wanted to talk about with this lens from what I've found so far. One thing that I really don't like, and this is a personal preference, if you like it, good for you, use it to your advantage. I don't like lens flare or sun flare. The worst thing for me is getting a beautiful photo of a couple out in the open with the sun shining on them and finding out that there's a green blob on someone's face. So one of the tests that I did was to shoot into the sun and see what kind of flares I was getting. As you can see here, the sun is up in this corner, and I don't have any flares, and that's impeccable. I've heard they are using a coating on the glass for this lens that prevents the flares, and whether it's that or the hood, which is detachable, by the way, and I took the lens cap off with it. There is no flare, and that's perfect for me. There's another one, straight into the sun, no flare. There was one instance where it was on the left where I found a little tiny bit of flare. I'm sorry, when the sun was on the right, found a little bit of a flare, but I can live with that tiny speck. And as long as you can, you check your viewfinder and see that there's a flare, not really that huge of an issue. And then the last thing was just another bokeh test. Got the balls here. It's just beautiful. It's creamy. In focus is super crisp. This is again 1.8. You really can't beat that. And I have not done anything to these photos, and I'll prove that to you. So we get to the develop module. So as you can see, I have not touched a thing. Nothing in the sharpness. This is default. Not one thing. And look how sharp that baby is at 1.8. That's gorgeous. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about real quick is the autofocus performance. Get this bad boy on my camera. And normally I don't keep the beep function on my camera, but for this it's pretty appropriate. So I'm just going to go around the room, focus on some random things, and you can hear how fast it's actually catching that focus point. Starting now. White wall. Nothing exceptional. It's good. It's not anything worse than any of my other lenses. I wouldn't say it's blowing me away, but it's definitely serviceable. Places with high contrast obviously are going to be quicker to focus than the places like the white wall or something like the shiny metal of the computer. But yeah, I mean, nothing to write home about, but again, it's not anything that's going to hold you back, really. So yeah, I mean, I could see myself using this lens for things like bridal party, getting a nice shallow depth of field on a big group shot. Things like full-length portraits of the bride and groom or individually, just to fit the whole body in there with a little bit of the environment as well. What else? Obviously, reception, this would be great as a 1.8. The only thing would be finding that focal point. So that might be something that I work on this Saturday at the wedding that I'm shooting, and I'll get back to you on that. And then obviously wide shots of anything that's going on. Ceremony, prep, just candids, anything like that at a wedding. This is going to be probably one of my go-to lenses. I can tell already. So my other lenses that I use are a Rokinon 14mm 2.8, which I use almost exclusively for reception, save a few portraits here and there, wide portraits. I have a 24-70, which I'm hoping this will replace, because my 24-70 isn't the sharpest lens that you can find. So we're going to test this out and see how this does in place of the 24-70, and hopefully I'll be selling that lens soon. So yeah, 14mm, 35mm, 50mm 1.4, 85mm 1.8, and a 70-200 2.8. And I think that really covers all the bases that I'm going to need to cover. And like I said, I will get back to you, tell you what works, what doesn't work, and let you know if I'll be able to replace that 24-70 with this 35. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you want to find out more, check in at gtphotonj.com. GT as in Garrett Torres, photo, NJ as in New Jersey. Follow me on Twitter at gtphotonj. Follow me on Instagram at gtphotonj. Facebook.com/gtphotonj. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.